Okay, welcome everybody. Yeah, I'd like this to be a fairly informal presentation. So please, whatever questions you have as we go along, put them in the chat, and we can answer them if we can. So let's start with our first slide. It's myself. I am Bill McDonald. I'm the coordinator and professor in the program. We also have other professors in the program. We have Sebastian Jacob. He is an entomologist, and he teaches the IPM and pathology parts of the program, which is really important in cannabis controlling your insects and diseases. We have Jennifer Macaron. She has worked as QA at quite a few license holders of cannabis production, and she teaches regulations. And we have Roland Law. He teaches our software, because everything in cannabis industry has to be tracked, and you have to track everything, every leaf, every pot, every bud, and so there's software that has to do with that. He teaches that. And then we also have Lori Zuber as your technologist, who teaches runs the labs in the bunker, and Stanley Leggett, who's our technician, also helps with labs. Okay, we'll go to the next one. So yeah, so sort of an overview of this. Sort of the middle of the top, I think, might be where a lot of people would like to go, develop expertise, become a master grower or micro cultivator license holder. We, excuse me, we are very much production oriented. You have to know all of the regulations, because that is very, very important to grow with Health Canada, and that's in your bottom right. You internship at a Health Canada license holder, and at the moment, it's every Friday in your second semester. So it's very production oriented. If we just go down in the absolute middle, we comply with regulatory and trade requirements for safe and legal production and practicing. Very important. I can't stress enough. That's where a lot of license holders may have stumbled because they have brought in legacy growers, and they have a hard time adapting to the highly regulated Health Canada, the environment that we work in. Top left, design and implement plant nutrition, lighting programs, integrated pest management. It's really about growing. And so we go through all what you need to. What is lighting? How do you measure lighting? How do you feed your plants? You don't just go to the hydroponic store and grab something and feed it. Unfortunately, some license holders did that, and that's a horribly expensive way to do it, and you can do it a lot easier yourself. And integrated pest management. Cannabis aphid has become a real problem in the industry, and we're actually starting a research project in January, working with a producer of biological insects and how to control these. So when you're growing cannabis, it's very much like growing organically. You cannot use pesticides other than very soft pesticides like Millstop, which is potassium bicarbonate. So it's all environment and using biological control, good insects control bad insects. So overall, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but that's really what you're doing, is trying to produce a good product in a Health Canada regulated program environment. Let's go to the next page. So why come to Niagara College? First off, we're the only one that you can go to other places, but it's online. we are the only place in Canada where you're actually going to get inside the Canada bunker and actually grow plants and work with plants, work on research projects. So you can't learn growing online. Just a little sideline there. We're a hybrid model. This started during COVID, and it's going to stick. That lectures are online, your labs are in the bunker, and the feedback we've had from students has been fantastic. They really enjoy the hybrid model, that you're actually getting into the bunker and growing, but lectures, we usually hold them at night. And also, if you can't make a lecture, they're all recorded. So our model is working out really, really well. So yeah, why Niagara College? If you really want to learn how to grow and be hands-on, this is the place to come, because we are Health Canada licensed. We have a research license from Health Canada, and we have to track absolutely everything. So you're going to know exactly what it's like to work at a Health Canada regulated operation, because you are in a Health Canada regulated operation. We have the expertise. Myself, I was a grower for 25 years in the floriculture industry. I've run 25-acre greenhouses, own my own greenhouse. I'm still consulting. Sebastian Jacob, he was in the industry for, I believe, about 15, maybe 20 years as a biological consultant. And as I mentioned, Jennifer Macaron, she has worked at license holders, and now she's a consultant. So we're not book learned. We've actually been out there doing all of this. Our technician, Lori, she originally came from the nursery industry, and she worked a lot in the nursery and growing. And then she's worked at a number of license holders, and now as a technologist runs the place. So you're really getting hands-on training from people who've actually done it. This is how we started back in 2018. So it is specifically built for, can we just go back one? These are starting to, I think these are likely on, I remember I had this problem once before that they were on animation. They kept skipping through. There we go. So that's actually what you work in. And so specially built, and we brought it in here in 2018, all Health Canada licensed. And okay, now we go to the next one. Okay, that long 40-foot container was just landed in March. We just had it licensed by Health Canada last month, and we're getting it all ready right now. And we're going to start growing in there in January. And our first research project Sebastian's going to be run is on control of cannabis aphids. All right, next. And we don't have the fence anymore. When Health Canada first started to regulate, we'll just go back. I think there's an animation that I once tried to get rid of and couldn't. When Health Canada first started regulating cannabis, they thought it was the most dangerous crop in the world, I think. And so you had to have razor wire and fences and all that. We don't have the fence now, but to get into the bunker, you'll have a student card. You have to tap and use your PIN. That will get you in the vestibule. But to get into where the cannabis is growing, only professors can get you in there. And yes, it's very high security. It's 24/7 video with 1-year archive, motion detectors. I'm what's called an RP. I have, that's called responsible person. I had to get a very extensive background check with the RCMP in order for us to get our license. And that is the sort of thing, if you're working in this industry, it's all about security. And Health Canada originally was about physical security, people not breaking in, and started realizing that's not the problem. It's about personnel security and who's working in there, and that they are security cleared. So it's an industry that's highly regulated and has a lot of security. Yeah, so there's our bunker at night. It's actually bigger now that we have the research bunker in there, but it's lit up. And yeah, actually going to the next slide to be fine. So that's what I see. If there's ever an alarm or something going on, we have cameras all around. And so I log in and can watch what's going on. And we have a research license. So everything that's grown in there has to be destroyed. And that's on camera. So CRA actually is who comes in and monitors us. And they will time to time say, pull up your footage of destruction. We'd like to see that. So like I say, you're exactly the same as working in any Health Canada regulated license holder of cannabis. It's how we started back in 2018, that little box. That's where everything started. And we had our original clones in there. Now we're getting quite a few new clones that we've had donated from the industry. We now have Duke Nukem and Rockstar Tuna and Punch Bowl Kush, lots. So we're updating our cultivars all the time so that you're growing what's being grown in the industry. And that's what's really important about our program too, is we're keeping up with the industry. And so we're the only place that you can go and say, yeah, I've grown high THC cultivars. I know what's going on. I'm not just growing some hemp, even though we do have a hemp license as well. And we're growing some hemp outside because that's an industry for producing CBD, but we are keeping very much up to date with what's going on in the industry. That was 2018. That's when we got our first clones. That was a big deal. Okay, we'll just watch. You can go ahead and watch this video. This is one of our former professors, Derek Schultz. So we get in, we start looking at the trichomes, what's going on, and so we can see, okay, is it time to harvest? And also you get to see and learn the physiology and anatomy of the cannabis plant. That's okay, we can go to the next one and it'll start to play. So it's just another view, and say, yeah, we do lots of cloning so that you get to know cloning and such. We have a limit of 400 plants, and we come very close to that a lot of times. So we're doing lots of cloning, lots of growing. We do nutrient deficiency experiments. We're going to be doing some organic versus traditional growing starting in January with the students that start in September. So doing lots of different techniques of growing and such. So you get a really good experience in the industry. And we can go to the next. Yeah, we're getting back to this. COVID sort of threw us all under the bus. And so we've had some virtual guest speakers. There's nothing the same as getting someone actually in and talking. We had our first guest speaker, what was it? Just Monday. We had someone physically come in and talk about growing in rockwool. So that's what we want to do, is get people in. The fellow here on the far left, that is David Hyde. He is the expert in security for cannabis operations, and had him in to speak. I want to have him in to speak again. So yeah, we make sure that we're, I'm saying a million times, that we're current with the industry, because this industry changes at the speed of light. And so we're staying with it and keeping close contact with the license holders. And we'll go next. Hands-on learning. So there's a clone that's been rooted with aeroponics. And yes, we do some tissue culture as well. And there's students working in the cannabis bunker. Yeah, we'll go to the next. Tissue culture. It's a very specialized way of propagation, and it can be difficult to do. We haven't always had the greatest success, but that's growing, and that's tissue culture. And so that is the sort of thing that we do, is how do we find and adapt methods to have successful tissue culture. And we'll go next. Yeah, and so it's, you take cuttings and put in a bleach bath. What you're seeing on the right, that is where we're doing a nutrient deficiency experiment. And then the little meter they have is testing chlorophyll. And we're getting a lot of really good instrumentation that you'll be working with. So we have power meters to measure the amount of light the plants are getting, how they respond. We have a photosynthetic meter, which we just purchased. And so we can start to say, okay, at what light levels are we getting maximum photosynthesis? So we are a very, very scientific lab, and we have a lot of tools to do this with. Yeah, and you get to harvest. We're actually going to be harvesting next week. And so it's always exciting that you've gone through this, and you actually get to harvest. And in your second semester, we have what's called our master grower little program in crops 2, where you are assigned a couple of plants, and it's your responsibility to grow. All right, and next. Yeah, so you won't be a master grower right out the gate, but you can become assistant grower and start to work up to that position. Micro cultivators, which is like the craft industry, that is becoming much bigger. Some students are aspiring to become micro cultivator, operations manager, post-harvest, propagation as well, in charge of propagating, because that's everything in cannabis. Once you do your phenol selection, is vegetatively propagated from clones. And we're also getting quite a number of our students doing quality assurance. And with a Health Canada regulated, that is absolutely vital to make sure that every step of the process is to the right standards, to the SOPs, standard operating procedures, to make sure that you're producing a product that is safe. So Ibrahim, I'm a civil engineer. Can I join this program? Yes, we have had engineers come through this program. What I'd say that you should do is start to read up on plant biology and plant science. I could recommend some books if you wanted, because what our prerequisites are is a degree or diploma in a biology plant based program. If you don't have that, then I review your portfolio and say, okay, this person has a lot of skills that works. And so, yeah, you may say, well, I don't have these prerequisites. Yes, you can come in as a civil engineer. We've had a couple of engineers come through, and very successfully. Our one engineer that came through, he's actually working at a tissue culture operation in British Columbia. All right. Want to start a family farm? Okay. Oh, okay. I'll ask this, like a diverse farm or something that includes cannabis? Okay. Okay. Well, that would be a good program for you. That yeah, hemp. One thing I see Ibrahim has put in, but that sacred plant. We do have a hemp license, and we are going to be growing hemp outside. We do some in the greenhouse as well. And also, if you're thinking becoming a micro cultivator, excellent program to get into. We do have a focus on that because if you've been reading in the industry, you can see that Tweed is closing down their Niagara Lake facility. Other large operations are closing down. Why? They're getting killed by the smaller and craft producers producing a good product. So yes, that would be excellent. We give you some real guidance in that direction. And I'd just like to say too, Lift Expo is next weekend in Metro Toronto Convention Center. And there's also the Grow Up Conference in Niagara Falls, November 30, December 1 and 2. If you're interested in this program, I'm going to be speaking at Lift, but with the Grow Up, we're going to have a booth there. So we have a booth at the Grow Up Conference in Niagara Falls. We'll be there to answer your questions. I know virtual is not always the best way to answer questions. Please come by our booth at Grow Up. And it's also a good way, if you're interested in the cannabis industry, to see what's going on. So I really can encourage you to go to Grow Up, and all you do is Google Grow Up Conference Niagara Falls, and you can attend that, and we'll be there as well.